Hey everybody, Ace Channel Liam here and welcome to another episode of Form Fight. Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, or a branched evolution, or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question and try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a metronome battle between those Pokemon just for a little bit of fun. If you're a fan of Form Fight and you're ready for more, make sure you hit that like button, show your appreciation for the series, and of course, hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss an episode. With all that out of the way, let's look at today's challenges. Today we're going to be looking at the two forms of Gastrodon, which are East Sea Gastrodon and West Sea Gastrodon. Now, Gastrodon will naturally evolve from Shellos at level 30 or can be caught in the wild. Regardless, the form of Shellos or Gastrodon that you find depends on whether or not it was caught in the east side of the region or the west side of the region, respectively. But what makes these two forms of Gastrodon so different? Let's take a look. Spoiler alert. It's not a lot. According to the Pokédex, both forms of Gastrodon stand at 0.9 meters tall and both weigh 29.9 kilograms. The Pokédex information for East Sea Gastrodon says when it's attacked, it gushes a purple liquid that's not poisonous but makes Gastrodon's meat bitter and inedible. A relative of Shelder and Cloyster, this ocean dweller sometimes comes onto land in search of food. As for West Sea Gastrodon, its Pokédex information says long ago it had a shell on its back. There's now a vestigial plate on its back that's hard but thin. Their shape and colour change depending on their environment and diet. There are many of them at beaches where the waves are calm. Appearance-wise, both these Pokemon resemble sea slugs, with East Sea being blue and green and West Sea being pink and brown, both with yellow accent features. In their shiny forms, they both simply get a bit dimmer in colour, which is kind of underwhelming, really. Great shinies, lads. Not. Now let's have a look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistances. Both forms of Gastrodon are dual-type water and ground Pokemon, making them both weak to only grass-type moves, although this is a 4x weakness, so bear that in mind. They both resist poison, rock, steel, and fire-type moves, and are completely immune to electric-type attacks. Now it's time to look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon forms. Stat-wise, East Sea Gastrodon is somewhat bulky, boasting impressive HP with above-average special defense, although it's a little lacking in physical defense. Its attack is decent, but its special attack is much better. And of course, it's a very slow Pokemon, as you'd expect. It is based on a sea slug. And of course, wouldn't you know it, West Sea Gastrodon stats are exactly the same. Both these Pokemon, unsurprisingly, have the same primary ability, which is Sticky Hold, which prevents Gastrodon's held item being removed by other Pokemon. This is useful for protecting your Gastrodon's strategy, and also prevents enemies swapping out your item to trap your Gastrodon with a choice item. The secondary ability of both Gastrodons is Storm Drain, which draws all water-type attacks into Gastrodon, and instead of damaging it, boosts its special attack by 1 stage. This is a fantastic ability, because not only does it give Gastrodon immunity to water-type moves, which would normally cause it neutral damage, but also it allows Gastrodon to protect its allies from said moves, whilst boosting its attack power in the process. It's a multifaceted, massively helpful ability. And finally, Shock Horror. Both these Pokemon share the same hidden ability, which is Sand Force, which increases the power of ground, rock, and steel type moves by 33% when a sandstorm is in effect. This is a handy move for getting more offensive power out of Gastrodon, an area where it certainly isn't ideal. Although having to set up the sandstorm itself, or even having an ally do it, can often be a cumbersome strategy, especially if you're not using a full sandstorm immune team. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two forms of Gastrodon I prefer, and it's pointless. There's literally no difference. It's like, apart from their Pokédex entries being slightly different, there's literally no difference between the two Pokemon at all, apart from their color scheme and a slight bit of like shape change. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd go with East Sea just because I prefer the blue and green coloring, just purely because blue is my favorite color. Surprise, surprise. There's just no difference. It's really pointless. And I'm only doing this form fight because you guys have been asking me for it week after week after week. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the metronome battle, because there's no difference. But of course, it's not just up to me to decide which of these I prefer. It's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. But before we do that, let's have some fun. It's time for the metronome battle. Before we get started, I will point out these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any items. They've all got their hidden abilities, so they've all got Sand Force. They're all the same type. They're the same Pokemon. There's no difference. I was going to do the only advantage or disadvantage comes from the base stats, but the base stats are the same as well. So everything's up to the metronome. Let's go. Here we go. You thought we were done with viewer-requested form fights that are absolutely pointless. Here we are, Gastrodon East Sea versus Gastrodon West Sea. Who's the better sea slug? We'll find out in a minute, because they've got the same stats, typing, abilities, all that stuff. we're just going to find out who the Metronome favors. We see an Ice Shard coming out from shiny East Sea Gastrodon. This is going to get so confusing. I'm so glad I named it East Sea and West Sea. Here comes regular East Sea with a Drill Run, though. That is going to be a beautiful stab move onto shiny West Sea. What will shiny West Sea do in retaliation? We're about to find out. What's it got in mind? It's going to go for Drop Kick, which is 4 times effective, though. What a great move from the get-go. This could be really short. Onto regular East Sea, also dropping its attack. Oh my goodness, that was a beautiful start. What will regular West Sea do? It's going to go for Tickle. You know, something a little bit out of the box there. Watch the Tickle strategy. Going to drop the attack of shiny East Sea and the defense as well with that beautiful Tickle. Remember, guys, if you get tickled, your attack and your defense goes down, so be careful out there. There's some real ticklers. Here's regular East Sea going for last resort, but it's going to fail. What will happen now? Everybody's in a speed tie as well. This is crazy. So shiny West Sea is going to go for Hurricane, but it's going to be avoided by East Sea. That could have been the end of East Sea Gastrodon right there. Here comes shiny East Sea with Sleep Powder. That's also going to miss on the shiny West Sea. Can anyone here move this turn? That'd be really useful. We've had a fail, a miss, and we get Defense Curl, which is going to be successful from regular West Sea Gastrodon. So at least regular West Sea got to do something that turn. Everybody else absolutely just F'd that. Completely F'd. Bottom of the class. That's what I meant by F, obviously. Close combat, though, from shiny West Sea onto regular East Sea, and already we have a casualty. There's the defense drop. There is the special defense drop as well on shiny West Sea. Living dangerously, but taking out its opponent. It's all up to shiny East Sea now to try and turn this battle around. What's it thinking? Gonna go for Fire Lash. It is going to be resisted by shiny West Sea, but it is going to get that stat drop, which is its its defense, I should say. I nearly said special defense, but just remember it's a -2 defense, regardless. Here we see Eerie Impulse coming out from regular West Sea onto shiny East Sea. Again, we're getting a drop in special attack, and it's a 2-stage drop in special attack from that Eerie Impulse. Not every day you see Eerie Impulse used, to be honest. And here's shiny East Sea battling for its life with a simple beam. Going to remove Sand Force from regular West Sea. I don't know how effective it is at this stage, really, to get rid of Sand Force. The likelihood of Sandstorm appearing is kind of low when you think about it. I think East Sea should really be getting on the attack right now. Is Conversion, though, so shiny West Sea is going to change itself to a normal type, because of course Metronome is a normal type move, and that's the only move that these Pokemon have. Here is regular West Sea following up. It's going to go for Agility and increase its speed, so it's now the fastest Pokemon on the field. Is that going to work in favor of West Sea? Or maybe East Sea will get a cheeky Trick Room to completely scupper that, who knows. But here comes the fastest Pokemon on the field, regular West Sea, and it's going to go for Sludge Bomb. Oh, that's dangerous. So there's the Sludge Bomb, not very effective, but does get the poison on shiny East Sea there. Very, very dangerous situation for shiny East Sea right now. It is living on borrowed time. And shiny West Sea is like, we've got you covered, mate. Don't you worry. Gonna go for a splash. Just absolutely mocking East Sea right now. What will East Sea do? It needs a miracle, and U-turn will not be that miracle. That will not do much damage at all as it is resisted. And there's the poison taking effect. Just reminding East Sea that it really is in a sticky situation. Here we go. Here we got West Sea. West Sea, what are you going to do? It's going to go for Power Trick. It's going to swap its attack and its defense. Now, that's interesting because its defense was raised by the defense curl. So now it's a +1 attack. I believe that's how that works. Maybe. Answers on a postcard. Here's shiny West Sea with a Bind, and that is going to do even more damage to East Sea at the end of each turn. East Sea really needs a miracle right now. At the end of this turn, it's going to take poison damage and bind damage, which is very, very dangerous. Here we see a double team. It's trying to avoid any further attacks. I think that's too little too late. I'm not sure. I don't want to count you out, East Sea, but you've got 2 Pokemon to defeat. You need some big spread moves and fast. What will you do? There's the poison damage and the bind damage, bringing it down to less than half HP. It really needs a miracle right now. What will regular West Sea do? It's going to go for Sludge Wave. Oh my goodness. Got to be careful though. That could damage, that could knock out your opponent, although shiny West Sea taking a lot of damage there, but doesn't get poisoned. That was the big risk there. Shiny West Sea is still here, and we see a Blaze Kick coming out. Again, it's going to be resisted, but dangerous territory for East Sea. I don't know if East Sea can survive this turn. If it does, it will be on very, very low HP. Trick or Treat, adding the Ghost type, I believe, to West Sea. I nearly said shiny West Sea. They just look so freaking similar. There's the poison damage, and there's the bind damage, and East Sea will go down. West Sea absolutely dominating Oh my goodness, if you voted on West Sea to win, you got them. They're just, wow, absolutely dominant. Good lads. So there you have it. You've heard what I've got to say. You've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield. Now it's time for you to make your really not necessary decision. Which do you prefer? East Sea Gastrodon or West Sea Gastrodon? Let me know in the comments below and try and think up a valid reason why your pick is the absolute best. Now that's where I'm going to leave this episode of Form Fight today. I hope you enjoyed it. I like giving you guys what you want and doing something a bit different. So here's a Gastrodon Form Fight. If you enjoyed it, hit like. If you're new, hit subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, Patreon link in the description. Until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.